An improvised bit developed by an ordnance officer on Okinawa for cavitizing high explosive shells. The bit is adjusted to the same length as a VT fuse. Occasional shortage of deep cavity shells has necessitated the converting of standard shells to accommodate the VT fuse. Standard impact or time fuses require a cavity approximately 2 1/4 inches deep. The VT fuse requires a cavity of approximately 5 inches in depth. In order to use VT fuses with standard shells, the cavity has to be increased the necessary depth. An ordinary toothbrush is used to demonstrate the depth of the cavity and help to clean it. Reports from several theaters indicate that cavitizing has been accomplished either by drilling or by melting and forming. The converted shells are code marked in paint before being shipped to the forward artillery positions. Combat testing the T-21, a 75mm recoilless rifle. Approximately 200 rounds are fired as the weapon is tried out for Pacific warfare. The rifle uses an HE AT-38 shell. Targets are caves at 800 to 900 yards range. The 57mm recoilless rifle, also in action for the first time in the Pacific Theater. Lieutenant General Robert C. Richardson, Jr., commander of the Pacific Ocean area, is arriving at the 7th Division Cemetery on Okinawa to pay his respects to the late Lieutenant General Simon B. Buckner, killed on 18th June while inspecting 10th Army front lines. General H.H. Arnold arriving at Yontan Airfield to attend a conference on Air Force problems. Arriving for the conference in another plane is General George C. Kenney, commander of the Far East Air Force, and his staff. The Air Force generals head for 10th Army headquarters. Tanks advancing against Hill 89, last enemy stronghold on the island and reported headquarters of the Japanese Army commander. Although shells have pounded every foot of the hill, soldiers and civilians fill the caves honeycombing the area. Heavy sniper fire makes the destruction of these nests a slow and costly process. A platoon commander with a portable flamethrower is covered by BAR men as he cleans out a cave. Another cave is blasted by a grenade. The men move in to flush out the Japs still hiding. Several of the enemy soldiers destroy themselves with grenades. A prisoner who's a native of the island tries to locate a group of approximately 10 Japs in a nearby cave, examining the equipment of a dead Jap to discover whether he's one of the group for whom they're searching. Near another part of the hill, our tanks move forward under heavy fire. One narrowly escapes a direct hit. Apparently undamaged, the tank continues in the advance against the last of the island's strong points. Tank machine guns rake an enemy pillbox. A Jap mine fails to knock out one of our tanks. A squad of riflemen deploy to flush underbrush that might conceal cave entrances. Evacuation of a member of the 3235th Signal Photo Detachment who was hit by rifle fire while taking motion pictures of action near some caves. An infantryman tells his commanding officer of the death of his platoon leader, who, while fighting beside him, was shot through the head by a sniper. Tank flamethrowers burning out one of the few remaining ridges where the Japs are dug in force. Our troops have surrounded the ridge by taking the next hill beyond it. Air support has to be withdrawn to safeguard the men as they close in on the last positions. Covered by tanks, the men lay satchel charges to mop up the cave still holding out. Another section being cleaned out by satchel charges. Organized resistance draws to a close. Our troops advance rapidly as the battle for Okinawa ends. Following the dropping of propaganda leaflets by plane, loudspeakers are used to get the civilians and soldiers still in hiding out of the cliffs at the island's southern extremity. For the first time in the Pacific War, enemy soldiers surrender in large numbers, possibly indicating increased belief in our propaganda unit's frequent assurances of good treatment. Among the troops giving themselves up are an unprecedented number of officers. Interrogation of those surrendering reveals many soldiers trying to pass themselves off as civilians. Natives who've lived underground for months are taken to camps for screening and rehabilitation. The prisoner of war stockade at Kadena containing more than 1,500 Japanese. As mopping up operations proceed on the island, Jap prisoners continue to swell the ranks of those already interned. By 28th June, the total number of Japs captured on Okinawa total more than 9,500. More than 3,000 of these are troops used solely for labor purposes. Prisoners are kept at the stockade for approximately 6 weeks and are then sent to Oahu. Screening of the personnel reveals that the troops who fought on Okinawa are from the Japanese mainland, Korea, and Okinawa itself. For the most part, they appear healthy and well-fed. And when they discover that the surrender propaganda terms of safe treatment are carried out, they become quite cheerful. Among the internees are a number of Okinawan civilians who took uniforms from dead Jap soldiers to protect themselves from the cold. They are slowly being separated from the troops in the process of screening. The age range of the prisoners is from 15 to 75. The extreme young and the extreme old are used in labor battalions. Japanese losses on Okinawa, including the men taken prisoner, amount to 111,000. At 1000 on 22nd June, a flag-raising ceremony is held at 10th Army headquarters to mark the official securing of Okinawa. The 82-day campaign cost us approximately 12,000 in killed or missing and approximately 35,000 wounded.